Hey, you want more Den of the Drake? No? Well, too bad, because we got a podcast. Join me, Loot Goblin, Twisted Pine Tavern, and Bear Bard over on Dungeon Lunch Break, where you can see garbage like this.
I'm gonna fucking cry.
Shh, it's alright. You're doing beautifully, and I'm so proud of you. Shh, it's alright, buddy. It's okay, I believe in you.
We got an episode out right now where we tier list the crap out of some of the best and worst campaign ideas from the internet. All topics are on the table for this crew as long as it stays nerdy. Dungeon Lunch Break, what the monsters do when they're not fighting you. Greetings, adventurers, and welcome back to the Den of the Drake. Other dragons hoard gold, while I hoard internet cringe. I got an RPG horror story double hitter for you today, so how about we go ahead and get into it? Artificial Intelligence, oh boy, now that's a hot button issue with a surplus of reactionary smooth brains coming at you from all angles. Personally, I've warmed up a bit more to the possibilities of the technology, but to be honest, when your opinion on something begins with the phrase, the death of the human brain and soul, you can only go up from there. But just because I'm using ChatGPT to write my daily schedules and letting it gaslight me into believing I don't have to pay for a therapist doesn't mean that I'm fully bought in on the AI hype train just yet. After all, most people are in firm agreement that there is nothing more soulless than art made by an AI. Unless you're one of the few who champion it as if it were some prophet of the machine god, destined to erase anyone with any actual talent off the face of the earth. Now that may seem like an exaggeration, but some of these AI art cultists treat the use of these things as if it were an actual religious practice. But I got an unfortunate reality check for you. If telling a machine what image you want to see get crapped out onto your hard drive makes you on the same level as a professional artist, then going through a McDonald's drive-thru makes me on the same level as a gourmet chef. The only difference is that you don't see me getting pissy about Gordon Ramsay finding work because I got too high huffing my own farts. I'm pissy with Gordon Ramsay because I'm too high huffing my own farts, and I'm jealous that his forehead wrinkles are more impressive than mine. The first story I have for you today stars a player who's bought into the AI art world so hard that the fact that the group of randos he found online doesn't want to use his art in their Witcher campaign is enough to send him into literal hysterics. Now, without any further delay, let's go ahead and dive right into the horrifying world of r/RPG horror stories. Enjoy. Story number 1 comes from Reddit user Red Hot Owl and is titled, "A Player Goes on a Wild Rant Because We Wouldn't Use AI in Our Game." Okay, before I start, I just want to preface that if you use or support AI art generation, I don't care. You do you. I'm not here to give you a lecture about the ethics of it or anything like that. We, as in myself and my friend who is the DM of the campaign we are running, personally do not. Right, so for the past month or so, we've been running a Witcher-themed campaign. It's been a pretty fun time. The races that are already part of the setting fit surprisingly well with the standard D&D rules. The whole idea is a sort of low-stakes side plot that is happening in parallel with the events of The Witcher 3, although featuring more mundane characters. To give you an idea, we've got an alcoholic dwarf farmer who fights alongside his pet goat. Anyway, one player, who I guess I'll call AI Bro, has been with us for a while. Until recently, he seemed pretty laid back and just overall average dude. Our time zones rarely matched up, so he mostly only hopped on for the game itself and was usually the first to log off, which meant we didn't really get to know him all that well. No big deal, of course, everyone's got their own lives and we're all adults. But that did mean that when what happened, it caught us completely off guard. When it comes to the visuals, like locations, creature references, and so on, my friend, the DM, mostly uses screenshots from the game itself that he takes and edits together. AI Bro didn't seem to have a problem with this, but during yesterday's session, he suggested that it would be cooler if we just used AI art, and that he could make some for us. My friend said that there was no need, but the gesture was appreciated. Then AI Bro asked why, and my friend explained that he wasn't really into AI-generated stuff. When I say that AI Bro completely lost it over that, I mean it. Dude went off on the most random insecure rant you've ever heard, talking over everyone who, just like us, just wanted to go back to playing the game that was going fine until then. He was saying things like his art was just as valid, and that it's time for people to start acknowledging that or whatever. even though no one was saying otherwise. I could almost see him frothing at the mouth as he went on, pretty much arguing with himself for a solid 20 minutes. He probably would have kept going if the DM hadn't kicked him off the call. We let AI Bro join back a few minutes later after he had supposedly calmed down. But even though he was less mad, he still kept bitching and throwing in snide comments. Another player, who is an actual physical artist, foolishly tried to explain why some people have issues with AI art. This kicked off yet another rant from AI Bro about how being an artist isn't a real job anyway, and that she shouldn't be mad at tech since it can do what she does better, which, I mean, she wasn't. Again, we were all cool with agreeing to disagree, but at the end of the day, it's our game, and we decide what goes in it. Eventually, the DM did end up booting him due to him refusing to drop it. Yeah, I don't know. Probably one of the most random blowouts over nothing that I have ever witnessed. End of story. Being an artist isn't a real job, huh? How much you want to bet that homie started crying into his hands and then cheered himself up by watching anime or playing Genshin Impact? You know, something made by people without real jobs. Buckle up, buttercups, cause I got some opinions, and y'all know how the internet loves those. Now, I want to make it clear that I don't think that AI art is completely worthless or should be banned or whatever, even though the ethics behind how the model trains itself can be questionable, to put it charitably. But I will never understand the quote AI artists who genuinely consider themselves on the same level as someone who spent years learning their craft and feel personally insulted when you rightfully think otherwise. Now, I don't know if I ever went on to make this explicitly clear or not, but I'm a bit biased because I'm an artist myself. Not a very good one, granted, but I can wrap my grubby little fingers around a Wacom pen and I've slapped together a sculpture or two. I'm the one who makes my own thumbnails, and out of the 176 videos I've uploaded, damn near every one of them has a piece of fan art featured at the end of it. Suffice it to say, I've done my damnedest to make sure that Den of the Drake is a channel where art done by real people with real talent is valued. Which is why I actually feel bad for these AI art people, despite most of their arguments being worthy of nothing but ridicule. A lot of AI artists like to validate themselves by pointing out that digital art was heavily criticized by traditional artists when it started getting popular, and how it wasn't seen as real art, much like how we see AI art today, which on the surface seems like a valid comparison. That is, until you give it more than 12 seconds of thought. In digital art, you're still bound by the need to learn the fundamentals if you want to make anything that looks good. Things like perspective, shading, anatomy, color theory, all that boring shit. But those are all things that you can improve on through consistency and experimentation. Just scroll through my channel's thumbnails from when I first started to now and you'll see what I mean. I was forced to make a thumbnail every week for damn near 3 years now, and guess what? I got better at making thumbnails. Holy shit, wonders never cease. You can't do that with AI art because 1, you are completely hard-capped by the quality of your chosen image generator, no matter how many times you use it. You can generate an image every day for a decade, and it will remain the same quality as the first one you made 10 years ago if the image generator doesn't improve itself completely independently of you. Secondly, because you didn't make the damn thing, you guaranteed that you were given 0 opportunities to leave your comfort zone and learn anything new in the decade you wasted scrolling through AI prompts. And 3, it's just more instant gratification in a world where instant gratification is already rotting the minds of a generation. Congrats! Your quote, art is to real art what TikTok is to Lord of the Rings, and it takes an especially demented mind to take any pride in that. I mean, sure, one could argue that you improve at writing the prompts to get exactly what you want, but if I were to walk into a Subway and tell the guy behind the counter not to put any mayonnaise on my sandwich because I get bloated, that doesn't mean I've improved at making sandwiches. And that's the biggest tragedy of the AI art cult, in my opinion. These people obviously value aesthetics and want to be able to manifest their imaginations into reality. But an opportunity to learn a new skill and leave their comfort zone is utterly squashed because they now have a tool where they can just embrace their internal weakness, shrug their shoulders, and say, good enough. We call it AI slop because that's what it is. Slop. utterly devoid of any lasting value because it ceases to exist in anyone's mind the second that they stop looking at it. Now, am I saying that you're a bad person if you use AI images at all? No, of course not. And the people who claim otherwise are reactionary zealots cut from the same cloth as the AI art bros. Maybe you need a hyper-specific reference image that you don't want to spend $70 a month on a stock image site to use just once. That's fine. Or maybe you need a throwaway background for a 2-second shot that no one will think about after the scene changes and you'd rather pay an artist to work on other aspects of the project that actually matter. That's okay too. If you're gonna use AI in your art, it should be used as a tool in making the final product, not the final product itself. Going back to the food example, I would consider using AI in a project in the same way a chef might use non-stick cooking spray. It makes the process easier, but it's completely optional and you can't really tell if it was used at all in the final product because its impact was so minimal. On the other hand, if I ordered an omelet and I was served a raw egg floating in a puddle of cooking spray, or even worse, just a bowl of oil with a straw poking out of it, I'd be pretty pissed, because whatever the f you just served me isn't a goddamn omelet. Now addressing the story itself, it goes without saying, but forcing your own worldview on others is never gonna make you the good guy in any scenario. Using AI to make assets for your private D&D game is totally fine, and you shouldn't be made to feel like a bad person because of it. But the same goes for if the rest of your group does not want to do it because they don't vibe with your, quote, art. You can't force other people to bend to your own personal tastes and opinions, unless they're mine. My specific opinions are objectively correct at all times, and I will start violently retching if anyone disagrees with me on anything because I have a fatal allergy to being told I'm wrong. Well, while we watch my comment section burst into flames, how about we move on to our second story? The second story I have for you today stars a DM who finds out that one of their most loyal players has been taking notes from Thanos, believing that reality can be whatever they want. Because, of course, whoever controls the DM's notes must control the world, right? Now, without any further delay, let's go ahead and dive back in. Story number 2 comes from Reddit user Zealous Joke and is titled, "A player was sneaking into my notes and changing things to make himself come out looking better. This is messed up. Like really, it's so messed up. I've been a DM for as long as I can remember, and I love playing TTRPGs. I've been friends with this group for, gods, who even knows how long? Decades at least. We usually play D&D together, it's my go-to group. It's a bigger group than recommended, 7 players total, but since we've been playing together so long, it actually runs pretty smoothly. When we first started, we didn't nearly have as much content as we do now. So back then, I created a homebrew world. It's been growing and evolving over at least 2 decades now. It's my project and I take a lot of pride in it. I'm not saying it's the best, but it's the best I could do. I've kept tons of notebooks over the years to keep everything consistent, but in the last year or 2, the sheer number of them got, well, pretty cluttered. So I finally decided to organize everything digitally. I started using Notion. Sorry if I'm not supposed to name it. It's a bit clunky at first, but once it's all set up, it's amazing. I can't believe I didn't switch to it sooner. Anyway, that's not the main point of the story. I use Notion for everything. World building, session notes, campaign plots, archives. It does wonders. It makes my life easier and I can access it from pretty much anywhere. Now, onto the real story. About 3 months ago, our group hit some major scheduling issues and we couldn't play for a while. We went nearly 2 months without a session. Thing is, the group break happened after I had already written up the notes for our next session. Nothing new there, right? Scheduling issues are the bane of TTRPGs. But about a month ago, we finally managed to set up a session, so I went back to my notes to refresh my memory, and that's when things felt off. Some things weren't exactly how I remembered them. Bullet points, loot lists, NPC interactions, etc., etc. Even the way it was written, it all just seemed a little different. It wasn't that different from what I remembered, but it was just different enough to feel off. I figured it was just my mind playing tricks on me and I ignored it. I made a few tweaks I thought needed more attention and that was that. 2 weeks later we had our session coming up, so I went back to my notes to check everything, get minis ready, the maps, etc., etc. And once again things were different. Stuff I knew I had changed had reverted back. Let me paint a picture. The changes all lean towards certain outcomes. I don't usually set things up like that, so it felt wrong. I made all my changes again. When we finally met for the session at a friend's place, things went smoothly for the most part, but a few things caught my attention. One player, who's normally the most outgoing, was acting a bit strange. You know, like when someone seems anxious or expectant, like they're waiting for something specific to happen. It was like that. He didn't say anything, but I got the feeling that he was expecting something particular to happen. And when it didn't, or didn't happen the way he wanted, he looked frustrated. I thought it was strange, but honestly, everyone's under different kinds of stress, so I didn't dwell on it. I went home that day and got on Notion to write up what happened in the session for my archives. The next day at work, I pulled out my phone to check a few things. My mind wanders sometimes. I opened up the archive for that session, and it was altered again. That's when I was sure something was up. I asked a friend who works in programming if there was any way things could change on Notion by themselves. Maybe their servers were acting up or something. He took my laptop, and the first thing he checked was the list of devices with access to my account. There were 4. My laptop, my phone, my tablet, and another laptop I did not recognize, which was logged in that day. As you can imagine, that was absolutely terrifying. I don't want anything on my Notion exposed. It's my work and I don't want anyone else looking at it. So we did a full reset, changed my passwords and everything. My friend even went the extra mile and reformatted my laptop and reset all my devices, which sucks, but hey, security first. Well, there wasn't much more we can do after that. My next D&D session was coming up, so I went to work on it. That's when, out of nowhere, I remembered that player's odd behavior. It bugged me, so I decided to check my archives, my world notes, everything, and holy hell, it was everywhere. Everywhere I looked, things were changed to make his characters, yes plural, look better. He even edited full-on epilogues, calling his characters the party's brain and leader, and so on. I was furious. Still am. Our next session was supposed to be this Saturday, but I just couldn't go through with it. I called him and laid it all out, and I told him I knew what he had been doing. And you know what this sociopath said? Why does it matter? It's not like it's hurting anyone. I just wanted a better light. Are you kidding me? I've known him for over 20 years. 20 years! And this guy pulls something like that? I'm sorry, but I'm just so damn angry. I hung up the call the moment he said that and made sure to kick him out of every TTRPG group we have. I told everyone what he had been up to, and they're all just as pissed as I am. Maybe even more, honestly. Now I'm trying to put things back together and fix everything. Thank God I have all my notebooks so I can fact check it all, but seriously, who does that kind of crap? TLDR. A player I've known for 20 years was hacking into my notes, changing past campaign details and current session notes to make his characters look better, and didn't even care when he got caught. End of story. This guy is what would happen if Neo from the Matrix suffered a catastrophic head injury, because he's smart enough to do the hacker man shit while simultaneously being dumb enough to believe that his scheme would actually work. Which way, chosen one? Take the red pill and you memorize your buddy's password by looking over his shoulder before attempting to unsubtly change the events of adult make-believe sessions to make yourself seem cooler, as if no one except for yourself has a working memory. Or take the blue pill and just act like a normal functioning adult. Dude, hard choice, am I right? This is a huge violation of OP's privacy, and for such a little payoff. If this guy hit me with the whole "I'm not hurting anyone" thing after I just had to reset all of my accounts and my laptop, I'd be livid. I'd be hurting everybody. My knee-jerk reaction would have been to change all the epilogues to include a portion where his character is killed by diseases contracted from performing various favors inside of gas station bathrooms. But upon further reflection, OP did the right thing here. No need to drag it out, just yeet that friendship built on lies directly into the sun. Because there's no way it will ever be untainted by that utter disregard of your personal boundaries. If someone who claims to be your friend would violate your trust so deeply for something so inconsequential, can you imagine what homie is willing to do if he actually got something of value to betray you for? I don't even want to think about it, because I would bet my left nut that the dude would stab you in the back for a bite of a Snickers bar. But you know what I would stab someone over? Receiving and showing off fan art. That's right, after all that AI art talk, how about we take a look at something made by a real person in this week's Gallery of the Drake. This week's fan art comes from viewer Aurora Evans and depicts the Drake perched upon his cringe hoard, obviously distressed over how cute he has become. How am I supposed to terrorize the countryside under these conditions?
Drake, buddy, I know that things have been hard for you ever since the accident with the wizard spell, but you gotta come out and make a video so we can pay the late fees on the rent while he works on reversing it.
No, they'll make fun of me and say that I'm a beta cuck. I'm not a beta, Larry. I'm an alpha. I'm an alpha.
Come on, you're still plenty alpha, whatever the you said. Give me a good old dragon roll.
Okay.
Aw, man, that was so scary. I think I peed myself a little.
Close the door, Larry. Thank you again, Aurora Evans, for submitting your art. I chose this piece for this video because of how much personality it has. Despite it being so simplistic, it has more personality and charm than even the most complex piece of AI art could ever muster. I've received dozens upon dozens of fan art submissions at this point, and I've met some of my closest friends through Gallery of the Drake. When I say that fan art means the world to me, I really mean that, dude. It is such an awesome feeling to know that you are the reason that someone decided to sit down and create something unique, and sometimes it's overwhelming. All this talk about AI made me want to push Gallery of the Drake a bit more this video. So if you've been needing motivation to create, why not try drawing a dumbass cringe-hoarding dragon? The world needs more artists. If you'd like to see your fan art featured in Gallery of the Drake, be sure to send it to the email in my About section, or upload it to the official Den of the Drake subreddit, linked in the description. Fan art is my favorite part of doing YouTube, and it means the world to me that I can inspire artists like you to create artwork like this. With the story over and artwork displayed, we're gonna go ahead and wrap up. If you enjoyed the video, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And if you feel like supporting the channel further, my Patreon merchandise and Gamer Subs affiliate links are in the description. Let's bag that waifu cup, ladies and gents. I would like to thank you all for listening, and I hope to see you next time in the Den of the Drake.
Behold, travelers, the legendary patrons of legend. Karam Archivals, Cam the Badger, Bro Tater-Tot, Soul Taker 666212, Gobshite, Near Readable, Miramotau, and Matthew Mulqueeny. Oh, these legendary legends from the legends deserve nothing but the utmost praise, for they are the Gigabards.
Hey, if you're still around, Papa YouTube thinks you would enjoy this video, so why not go and give it the old clicky click?